Executive elections to security issues, security analyst Adib Saani has warned that there may be moles in Ghana's national security architecture who are tipping off terrorists. According to him, the activities of the moles are hampering the country's efforts to prevent terrorist attacks. His warning follows an alert issued by the National Secretariat that there may be terrorist groups operating from the mountainous parts of the Upper East region and are asking the police and military to act. Speaking on the development, the security analyst said that the fight against terrorism will not achieve the intended purpose if those moles are not cleared. He has since advised that henceforth information should be encrypted and should be sent through secured services. And Adib Saani joins us live for more on this. Good afternoon and thank you for joining us.
Good afternoon, my brother.
We really should be worried if, very confidential information meant for the security space is found in the public domain. Is that the premise on which you believe there are moles in the national security architecture?
Absolutely. The last letter that has been making rounds on social media was authored on the 3rd of June. Same day before the close of day, the letter was making rounds on social media. It's not the first one. Some few weeks ago, there was a similar letter from, actually that was even a cable, from the IGP to the Upper East Regional Command warning that there were some individuals who had come from Burkina Faso to fight in Boku and were returning to the area, and so the police should be on the lookout. So when confidential, restricted, classified information is put out there in this manner, it can only come from one place, from within. And information sharing at this critical moment is very important, because what this actually means is the information might have even gotten to the terrorists before getting to the CDS and the IGP. And so before you get to the place, that route is a very treacherous, remote route that takes a lot of time to get there, considering also the nature of the routes. And with the power of technology, if they are able to get wind of this information, they will disperse and you would get there and meet no one. That is why it's important that we investigate and get to know where this leak is coming from. And I'm also quite gobsmacked because at this time, in the 21st century, such important information is put in a letter form when we have encrypted, secured servers on which we can share information. There's no room for bureaucracy at this point in time. We need to be proactive and, stop the instance of sharing or corresponding letters in this manner. It's a smack of, I must say, irresponsibility.
How really would the security institutions be able to do this and fish out the moles and be cleared from the system?
Well, we need to identify, because this is certainly not a letter that should go through secretariats, that should be received by secretaries, photocopies held in files. No, this is classified information. So you should be able to count the number of people who should have had access to this letter and find out from them if they have allowed some third, fourth, fifth parties to also access it. We're talking about the national security. They have the capability, they have the capacity to get to know. If not, we might have more information that you and I might not necessarily be privy to, but the terrorists might be privy to that. So there's a need, and it's very urgent for us to know. If not, it's going to hamper seriously our efforts in countering the threats of violent extremism, especially towards the northern frontier.
What about the ordinary Ghanaian? This was supposed to be classified information. Now, the ordinary Ghanaian must have seen this on social media. How do you think we should be reacting to this as, citizens?
Well, obviously, when information is not well tailored, and on this occasion, I speak as a communicator myself, it has the tendency of causing mass hysteria in one form or another. the people in the area should be worried. But if it was meant for them, if it was well tailored, they would have perhaps received it, differently. There's a need for us to, on one hand, give out information to the citizens so they know about the threat and know what to do at the personal, domestic, and community levels to complement government and CSO commitments. On the other hand, we also need to exercise a great deal of diligence, of circumspection, so that we don't give out too much information that would compromise whatever investigation or counter-terrorism strategy that might be ongoing. But overall, I think that it is still important to engage the people, especially through civil society organizations. So when I hear about ambassadorial, I cringe, because this is not a Ghana Music Award sort of thing. This is serious business. And you cannot take people and call them ambassadors. No. We don't do that. I mean, it doesn't show any seriousness within the national security architecture. We need to collaborate with the NGOs, the civil society organizations that are deep-rooted. They are on the ground. They interact with the people day in, day out. And guess what, my brother? If the NGOs who are there and have earned the trust of the people speak to the people, they would listen to them than a politician. Okay, so let us go beyond the infographics we are seeing on social media. How many people down there in Garu and Nakanduri and Nalergu and other places have access to social media? I think we need to go beyond the manner in which we are doing things currently if really we want to have an effect on the ground.
Okay, so not long ago, the See Something, Say Something campaign was, introduced. Do you think that is going to help in our fight against terrorism?
Absolutely. I've always contended that there's no way government can fight terrorism alone. In fact, the people are the biggest stakeholder. And I'm also tempted to think that this See Something, Say Something should have actually happened 2 years ago, because the threat has been there for some time now. But we're making it look like the terrorists just touched down at the Kotoka International Airport. No, the threat has been there for some time. It was kept under wrap. But thanks to the efforts of civil society organizations like the Jetike Center for Human Security and Peace Building, we have finally gotten government to accept the fact that, yes, there's a threat, okay? And from all of a sudden, we are getting to see some education happening, but it is not enough. I see the Ministry of Information leading this charge. I think it has to go beyond. Like I indicated, civil society organizations play a very important role. In fact, you feel the presence of civil society organizations on the ground, in the hinterlands, than even the government. So we don't constrict it all to the Ministry of Information. Trust me, they wouldn't be able to do it, okay? So the national security should not be complacent. They shouldn't be shy to approach civil society organizations. We are on the ground and we know it better than they do.
Okay.
And I'm saying this categorically without mincing words. They need to shun the arrogance and approach the civil society organizations, and together we can get as many Ghanaians as possible educated. I have taken the trouble to educate market women. I've been to a number of markets, including the Bosche International Market. That's the Medina New Market right here in Accra. I've authored a number of releases, including the 12 points to identify a potential terrorist, which has gained a lot of traction. And I've seen a lot of churches and mosques share it on their social media handles. So we need to work together as a people. And the media, by the way, have a very important role to play. So I wish to use this opportunity to appeal to Metro TV to make it as part of your corporate social responsibility. Let us go out there. I'm available 24/7. You can ask Henry.
Definitely.
So we educate as many Ghanaians as possible about what they can do.
Definitely. Thank you very much, Adib Saani, for joining us this afternoon. And Adib Saani is a security analyst. And meanwhile, President of the Economic Community of West African States, Jean-Claude Cassie-Brou, says the authority is implementing a plan to ward off terrorist attacks